This is me, Daniel Sharp, but back in 2009, my third year of teaching. At this point in my life, I relied heavily on direct instruction. It was how I remained in control, and so I thought, ensured students learn to their maximum potential. I knew there was incredible value in exploration learning, where students discovered math concepts using physical manipulatives and materials, but at the time I didn't understand its full potential. I had always been a tech guy, so I was very interested in how I could use my knowledge of technology to improve the learning environment for my kids. I started with a Moodle site, where students would log in with their netbooks to play math games based on their own personal learning plan. These were my first attempts at blended learning, even though at the time I had never heard about it. I was flying solo in the world of instructional technology. I knew I needed to expand my knowledge and connect with educators who were already masters at this. I needed to continue my learning because I love my students, and I wanted the best learning experience for them. I knew technology could make teaching less stressful for educators and learning more enjoyable for students, but I needed to expand my thinking. At this point in time, I decided to pursue a master's degree in instructional technology at Regis University. I knew that by being in a cohort, I would gain good insight from the professors and have a great group to reflect with. In my first class at Regis, EDTC 600, Pedagogical Practice in Instructional Technology, I was challenged to rethink what I knew about teaching and learning by Professor Michael Wacker. We looked at the TPAC framework, the theory of constructivism, universal design for learning, and Marzano's 9 instructional strategies, among others. It was here I was reminded that I work with children, not just students. I needed to start my journey into instructional technology by remembering to reach all the kids in my classroom, not just the ones my curriculum taught. Technology thus must support children in learning to learn. UDL, TPAC, Marzano, Bloom's, and others can guide us to ensure that the learning experiences we facilitate reach all students. My second course, EDTC 614, moved away from pedagogy and focused more on the tools being used. Just putting students on computers wasn't going to cut it. We needed to look at how technology tools help foster 21st century learning through collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and student discourse. I began asking myself, how does technology best support my new views of pedagogy, where students are in control, where children do the thinking, and the teacher acts as a facilitator of this constructing knowledge? As part of an assignment project, I ventured into my teachers' classrooms over the course of 5 days, but all I saw was basic use, more direct instruction, with technology that could be used to do so much more. With this knowledge, I took my first steps into Google Docs and built collaborative lesson plans with teachers. These plans shifted technology use in those classrooms by taking it away from the teacher and putting it in the hands of the students. In web development, I built my first website on WordPress. Here I learned about programming through the HTML language. I really fell in love with programming at this point, as I realized that I could build my own programs instead of relying on others, like curriculum companies, to develop them for me. This website became my own personal hub where I shared my reflections via blog and I hope to inspire others. I also shared technology tools, how-to videos, and ways for teachers to submit requests to me for tech support. Advanced Web was my next course, and I was lucky to have Professor Wacker back again. I learned how to use Google Apps as a learning management system, as we built our own collaborative LMS among the class students. Here I was able to really get into programming, as I built my own Android application, the Magic Crystal Ball, which predicts the future. Well, not really, but it was one more step in helping me realize the power of being able to create my own applications for education. I used a website called Treehouse to learn how to build this app. As I used this site and Code Academy, another online learning course, I began to notice patterns in best practice for online learning, such as easy-to-understand video instruction, frequent checks for understanding, and digital badging to encourage and reward successful completion of modules. These sites would begin developing a framework for my own online learning courses. In Media 1, our group was once again challenged to rethink what we knew about copyright and content sharing by exploring the laws of Creative Commons, fair use, and the open source movement. I built a visual literacy course in BlendSpace, a Web 2.0 tool, for students and teachers to help them better understand how content can be used online in accordance with Creative Commons and in alignment to the digital citizenship standards in NETs. As a leader, however, I quickly shifted my thinking to how we could break the curriculum system through open source content. Sites like CK12 and Khan Academy offer free online content to all learners. I realized that if a group of developers could write entire software programs for free use, then teachers and students could also create large online content repositories for free. By using free online content and Google Apps as a free LMS, schools could drastically reduce the money wasted on curriculums and move that money to support and maintain one-to-one device initiatives. These new understandings began driving my vision for the kind of school I wanted to develop as a future principal. Instructional design had us create a multi-lesson or PD session for either students or teachers. I chose the latter and developed a blended learning professional development for my teachers. One key piece of this process brought me back to our first class, EDTC 600, as it asked us to think about the kids in our school and what their perception would be of blended learning. I prepared student perception surveys for the classes of the teachers whom I was going to be giving the PD to. Having the kids participate and drive the planning process was an incredible experience, as they voiced needs I would never have considered, such as them still getting personal one-on-one time with their teacher when taking an online course. I also, for the first time, planned my PD to model the same learning process the kids would experience. Thus, I made my blended learning PD in a blended learning format. In fact, I will never facilitate another PD again that doesn't reflect the pedagogy I would expect my teachers to use with the kids. Let's listen to one of my teachers, Caroline Ellis, as she reflects on blended learning after her grade level team participated in the PD I created.
So this year we did student perception surveys based off of how much we've seen over the past 2 years that our kids are completely engaged with their computers and their online learning. And so we decided this year that it was important to find out what exactly our kids wanted to learn on their computers and how they wanted to learn, and how we could integrate the computers better into their learning. Every teacher knows that when you're standing up in front of a class and you've been on the carpet for 15 minutes and the kids' eyes glaze over and you're trying to drill in main idea, or you're trying to drill in what is a summary, and it's you have your checks for understanding and you know that they're not getting it, but it's already been 15-20 minutes and they're done and you need to get them off the carpet. What do? Like, I tend to keep them on the carpet until I hear the answers that I need, which may not be the right thing. I feel like blended learning helps with the authenticity, with the desire of learning. If we've talked a lot about transferring. I've learned a lot as a teacher because I'm the one up there doing the work and I'm the one teaching them about main idea, so I know what a main idea is. And so the transfer of me doing the work and learning what a main idea is to having them finding out what is a main idea, that's the authenticity in blended learning. It's allowed them to go out and explore and find those answers for themselves, not just having a teacher teach it at them, a teacher tell them what it is. They really get that opportunity to find it. The engagement's 100%. Like, they're so excited about it. They yearn for getting on the computer to go through it and to succeed at it. That's an important part. They want to pass the quizzes. They want to be successful and move within the blend space.
In virtual communication and collaboration, we looked at how distance learning has been made possible through the use of internet video like Skype and Google Hangouts. As I mentioned earlier, I felt solo in the world of technology. Now, because of social media, I'm connected to hundreds of educators who live, breathe, and eat instructional technology each day. I've even used Google Plus Hangouts to rethink how I coach teams at my school. Having video conferences later at home, after everyone has had time to relax and reflect after a crazy school day, makes any PD more enjoyable and not as stressful. When I one day have my own school, I will require students and teachers to communicate virtually through video and social media. For my elective, I took Introduction to Programming, a course designed for those who were starting their Masters of Software Engineering. Although not directly related to education, I wanted to expand my knowledge of programming as I continually seek to create programs for myself, but also to explore the possibilities of having programming as part of kids' learning in elementary school. Here you can see some of the software I created, from basic programs that do addition to advanced programs that file and sort data. Through this experience, I found a love for Microsoft Visual Studio, as well as a cool website called Scratch that mimics programming structures for kids. My technology teacher now runs a class that uses Scratch and teaches basic programming concepts to students while they create games and movies. Finally, we get to Media 2, my last course in which I created many artifacts. We specifically looked at how media can change what schools, classrooms, and learning looks like in the 21st century and beyond. I explored the concept of augmented reality, in which I envisioned the learning possibilities if on the eyes of every student sat a pair of Google glasses. I imagined models of spacecraft being projected in front of the students through Google Glass, as the visual sensors reacted to their hands, manipulating the model, bringing a whole new meaning to the term virtual field trip. I continued my visioning of the future by using Google SketchUp to create a 3D representation of my classroom of the future. I took this opportunity to create a space that applied all I had learned throughout this degree, a classroom that supported constructing knowledge as teachers used technology to help facilitate learning in every way. All students had their own device and followed their own learning plans, coming and going as they pleased, thus truly fulfilling anytime, anywhere learning. Appropriately, this has become my mission and vision of education. Moving forward as an administrator, I will push to disrupt our current educational system, just as my learning was disrupted in this master's program at Regis. I have finally found my community, and with it, my vision for changing education for my own children and all the children around the world.